Afternoon. You know, I've been thinking a lot about this lately. I'm not much on terms like boomer or Generation Z or ABC or anything else like that. I refuse to pigeonhole people. People are people. Some good, some bad. But I've been thinking about this a lot. Lately, it's come to me that Generation Z has a point. They are screwed. There's nobody helping them. Nobody doing anything to improve their life. Well, why is that? You know, when I was a young kid, when I was their age, granted that's a long damn time ago, I had a job paying. I just got out of 6 years in the Navy. And I'm like everybody else. I got out in the Navy in 82. I guess 84 things got pretty tough because nobody was finding jobs anywhere. Not even me. So my wife and I and the young baby, we packed up and headed to Texas where the oil field was because I knew there was always jobs in the oil field. And I got down there and I got a job. I didn't really care what I was doing as long as I was making good enough money to pay for everything. I got a job working for what they call a hot shot company, moving oil field equipment around. And it was doing all right, making a whopping big $10 an hour or something like that back in them days. But housing was affordable, so it didn't bother you so much. Everybody was making $10 an hour back in them days. And then I finally found a job in technology. We were doing mil-spec burn-in testing as a subcontractor for Texas Instruments. And I was getting the chance to play with all kinds of toys, and man, life was good again. Still making about $10 an hour, but we was working with high current DC power supplies, burn-in testing. Hell, I can't even think of the names now that we use to measure the temperatures in the ovens. It's been so damn long. Data loggers, stuff like that. And we were measuring the temperature in all these ovens. We had hundreds of them. Each filled with racks of integrated circuits. Hundreds of them on top of that. Hell, there must have been thousands of them going at any one time. And we could measure the temperature in any one of them at any time just by pushing a button or whatever. Man, we thought we was great. Involved a lot of programming, a lot of other stuff. Before that, we had chart recorders. Well, we'd go around every hour or every couple of hours and read the chart recorder and everything. And we used to do a good thermocouples. That's what I was trying to think of a while ago. Anyway, we're testing all this stuff. And along with our business requirements, we needed to get certified to do this mil-spec burn-in testing. So myself and another guy, we were given access to all these guides like 883 and 38510 and 45662, things I barely remember. It's been so many years ago. But we researched all of them, found out what the requirements were, and we built a system, our own set of internal operating procedures that allowed us to make sure all this stuff was humming along, and we got certified and we passed. And damn it, we passed on the first try, so we were proud of ourselves. Still making about $10 an hour, but we was doing good. Round about then, the layoffs started and everything. I think that's back when the things were starting to go overseas. This company was out of Singapore, and hell, they probably moved everything back over there eventually. I don't know. I think the last time I looked, they still had a staff in Austin, Texas. I don't know what exactly they were doing. But it is what it is. Back then, for us to work our way up the ladder to make more money, we had to start job hopping, stuff like that. But at least we had the opportunity to do so. These kids nowadays in Gen Z, I don't think they have that opportunity. Let's get the housekeeping out of the way. Well, after my layoff and my divorce around around 88, I found out that if I was to go into to contract programming, I could double my income from $10 to $25 an hour. Well, hell, that was great. And then as I did more and more contracts, I come to realize that if I was willing to work 3 months on and about 3 months off, like in the oil field, I could make money traveling around the country. And then I could go back down to my little small, humble town, and I could try and make a living there, start a business or whatever. And after about 3 months of starting myself, well, I'd go throw my hat back in the ring. I could go back contracting. And I did that for years, making $25 an hour, living back in Central Texas, taking my days off. And when I needed to work, I'd go back up around Boston area, Salisbury, Seabrook, New Hampshire, up in that area, Kittery, Maine, places like that. And I could make a damn good living for about 3 months, and I could make enough money where I could afford to go back down and try and live in my small town again. Now, granted, I never got rich doing it. Hell, I wasn't in it to get rich. I just wanted to make enough money to live my life. Be able to do the things I wanted to do. And I did this for years. And then gradually, as my skills grew, where I got pretty good at doing what I was doing, I realized I could charge $45 an hour. And if I talked to my old friends back in Texas, back in other places I lived, I realized they were still making that $10 an hour for the most part, maybe 15. Some might have topped out at 20 per hour. Here I am making $45 an hour. And my point of all this is I had the opportunity to be all that I wanted to be. I eventually reached a high of $67.50 an hour before everything went to shit on me. Took me years to understand what had happened. This is why I think I understand what Gen Z is going through. I ultimately reached a point back around 2003 where all of a sudden I could find very little work. And it took me years to understand it. Around 2007 I started figuring it out. Started Keep America at Work. Around 2012, I was working with a bunch of people scattered all over the country. We were all swapping stories and figuring out what was happening. And around 2012, I think I pretty well figured out what had happened. So between 2012 and 2025, I began trying to show others what I had found that's happening. So I think I understand what Gen Z is going through. Because I can't find my way out, and I've got all these skills. My skills are sharper now than they ever were. So if I can't make a living, how does some young kid, fresh out of college, fresh out of high school, who doesn't yet know what the world has in store for them, going to find work? When they do everything right. They go to college, they get a degree, a good paying degree, not no worthless thing like the damn media tries to tell you. I'm talking about a technology degree. They get a good degree. And they can't buy a fucking interview. Excuse my French. How are they supposed to do it? How are they supposed to They don't even have the option to job hop like I did before. Job hopping is what made me more money than anything. Job hopping is also what made the employers bring in H-1Bs, because they couldn't stop me from job hopping. But by golly, that H-1B, it's like a ball and chain tethered to their desk. You're here, you're going to work, do whatever we say we're going to do, and if you don't like it, we'll send you back to Timbuktu. Our kids can't do that. They can't find a way around. Without an employer coming up and say, hey, I believe I'm an American, and I believe in hiring Americans and training Americans and promoting Americans, because I want to see our country and our communities do well. Without an American doing that, we ain't got shit. And right now, that's where we're at. So I get what you're going through, Gen Z. I really do. For those out there that want to discuss this with me, I'd be happy to. Here's how you can contact me.